Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying back in time to West Africa to uncover the story of one of the most powerful and wealthy empires the world has ever seen. The Mali Empire. Forget what you think you know about medieval history, because this story is packed with legendary kings, mountains of gold, and cities of learning that shone like beacons across the desert. So, grab your virtual passports, and let's dive into the epic rise of Mali. Our story begins in the early 13th century. West Africa was a patchwork of smaller states, often dominated by the powerful Sosso Empire, led by the fearsome Sumoro Kanti. But from the south, a new force was emerging. His name was Sundiata Keita, a prince once exiled and thought to be a cripple, but destined for greatness. They called him the Lion King, and for good reason. Around the year 1235, Sundiata rallied the scattered Mandinka clans, forging them into a unified, formidable army. At the decisive Battle of Kirina, he faced the Sosso Empire and, against the odds, emerged victorious. This single battle wasn't just a military victory. It was the birth of a new empire. With the Sosso defeated Sundiata, Keita laid the foundation for the Mali Empire, unifying the region under his rule and setting the stage for an era of unprecedented prosperity. So, how does a brand new empire, born from conflict, become a global superpower? The answer, in a word, is location. Mali was perfectly positioned to take control of the most lucrative trade network of its time. The trans-Saharan trade routes. Imagine vast caravans of camels, sometimes thousands strong, trekking across the immense Sahara Desert. What were they carrying? Two commodities, more precious than almost anything else: gold and salt. From the south came endless supplies of gold from the rich mines of Bambouk and Bure. From the north, across the desert, came massive slabs of salt from mines like Tagaz. In the medieval world, salt was so valuable it was used as currency. It was essential for preserving food and for life itself. By controlling the arteries of this trade, the Mali Empire essentially held the keys to the West African economy. Gold flowed north and east, while salt and other goods like cloth, horses, and copper flowed south. Every transaction, every caravan that passed through its territory, added to the empire's treasury, making it fabulously wealthy. But wealth alone doesn't build a lasting empire. You need structure, you need law, and you need a strong military to protect it all. Sundiata Keita was not just a warrior. He was a brilliant administrator. He established a central government and a constitution, an oral charter of rights and responsibilities known as the Kurukan Fuga. This was revolutionary. It organized the empire into provinces, each run by a governor, or farba, who reported directly to the Mansa, the emperor. These farbas were responsible for collecting taxes, enforcing local justice, and mobilizing troops when needed. This system created stability and a clear chain of command, ensuring that the vast empire could be managed effectively. On the military front, Sundiata reorganized the army into a professional and disciplined force. His generals weren't just conquerors. They were charged with securing the vital trade routes and the gold-producing regions, ensuring the economic lifeblood of the empire was never threatened. This combination of economic control, organized governance, and military might was the engine that powered Mali's rapid expansion and solidified its power for generations to come. Another key ingredient in Mali's success was its embrace of Islam. While many people in the empire continued to practice their traditional beliefs, the ruling class and merchants increasingly adopted Islam. This was a strategic move as much as a spiritual one. By becoming a Muslim state, Mali could foster stronger diplomatic and economic ties with the powerful Islamic states of North Africa and the Middle East. It opened doors to a wider world of trade, knowledge, and culture. Muslim scholars, traders, and architects were welcomed into the empire, bringing with them new ideas, technologies, and a shared legal and commercial framework that made long-distance trade much smoother. This connection to the wider Islamic world enhanced the empire's prestige on the international stage and laid the groundwork for it too. become a major center of learning which we'll see come to full fruition under its most famous ruler. And that brings us to the man whose name is synonymous with unimaginable wealth, Mansa Musa. Ascending to the throne around 1312, he inherited a stable and prosperous empire. But under his rule, Mali would reach its zenith, its golden age. Mansa Musa was a devout Muslim, and his reign is most famously defined by his spectacular hajj, or pilgrimage to Mecca, in 1324. This was no ordinary journey. It was a procession of staggering opulence. Chronicles of the time describe a caravan stretching as far as the eye could see, including tens of thousands of soldiers, officials, and attendants. Most famously, it included camels loaded with unbelievable amounts of gold. We're talking tons of it. As Mansa Musa traveled through Cairo, he gave away so much gold in acts of charity that he single-handedly disrupted the entire Egyptian economy, causing the value of gold to plummet for over a decade. Imagine having so much wealth that you can crash a country's economy just by being generous. News of his wealth spread like wildfire across Europe and the Middle East. For the first time, the Mali Empire was literally put on the map. European cartographers began drawing West Africa with a king holding a golden nugget, a direct reference to Mansa Musa. His pilgrimage wasn't just a display of wealth. It was the ultimate PR campaign, announcing to the world that a powerful, sophisticated, and incredibly rich empire existed south of the Sahara. When Mansa Musa returned from his Hajj, he didn't just bring back souvenirs. He brought back the brightest minds of the Islamic world, scholars, architects, and poets. He was determined to transform his empire into a global center for culture and learning. This vision was most spectacularly realized in the city of Timbuktu. Under Mansa Musa's patronage, Timbuktu, along with other cities like Jen, flourished into a world-renowned intellectual hub. He commissioned the construction of magnificent mosques, including the famous Jingaber Mosque, which still stands today. He funded universities and libraries, most notably the University of Sankore. This wasn't just a local school. It was an internationally acclaimed center of learning that attracted students and scholars from all over Africa and the Middle East. They came to study law, theology, medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. Timbuktu's libraries housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, becoming one of the greatest repositories of knowledge in the world. This cultural and intellectual flourishing cemented Mali's legacy not just as an empire of gold, but as an empire of the mind. The rise of the Mali Empire is a powerful story of vision, strategy, and immense wealth. From Sundiata Keita's unification of a people to Mansa Musa, his golden pilgrimage that put Mali on the world map. This West African empire was a dominant force for centuries. It built its power on the strategic control of trade, effective administration, and a vibrant culture of learning that turned cities like Timbuktu into legendary centers of knowledge. It's a history that challenges many preconceived notions and showcases the incredible achievements of African civilizations. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the heart of the Mali Empire. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next historical adventure. Let us know in the comments what other empires or historical topics you'd like to see us cover. Until next time, stay curious.